So today I wanted to talk about a quick win, a solution to everyone who always shares with me how hard, and I totally get it, how hard it can be to have time, make time, find time to do yoga and to have time for that practice. And I clearly am in my car. I just finished driving to my daughter's band day. And I know that many of you are just like me. We are running here and there for lots of activities for maybe our kids or even our grandkids. We're busy working as a career person, right? Working on that career, hard at work. And we're pulled here and there, and our schedules are packed. And so the idea of fitting in an hour class and it magically matching up with the studio's class is always really, really hard. And I totally understand. I'm there too. And so I was thinking about that on the drive over, also thinking about all the things that I'm keeping track of and I'm juggling and what my schedule is like and when I'm going to get this done and when I'm going to get that done. And I know how that also can feel physically. And I decided, you know what, instead of listening to a podcast, instead of listening to the radio, I was going to turn everything on and I was just going to drive. And realizing, and this is the quick win, that yoga looks totally different and can look totally different. And thinking about what's the goal? Well, the goal of practice is to feel better, is to come back to center, slow things down, feel better in our body, in our mind, and how can we fit that in to what we're already doing? I had to be in the car anyway to get to band day. I can't do yoga poses while driving, but I can be present. I can shut off all the other noise that distracts or almost feeds that stress of the mind and the juggling of what else do I need to do and what do I need to get done, and instead have that time for quiet. I think sometimes we imagine that if it's quiet, our mind is going to race or reel or think about more and more things. And I noticed that a little bit at first, maybe, that I was starting to think about, oh yeah, I've got this and I've got this. But that didn't last very long. And it was as if my brain just kind of finished that thought of running through the juggling list and the to-do list. And then I really was able to think about my breath. And I was able to like focus on that inhale, to hear that inhale, to hear that exhale, to slow the breath down, to deepen the breath, just like we do in yoga. And then I was able to kind of look around as I was driving and see the beautiful fall trees right now, and to notice, the sun is out, the sky is beautiful, and to see the birds flying around and to think about how beautiful it is where I was driving. And then I was also able to think about each car that I passed or that I met, this idea of like sending them good energy, wishing them a wonderful day, a safe drive, health and happiness, sending them a smile, all those positive energies and those vibes. And when you send that out to those around you, you also feel it yourself. You also benefit from it yourself. And so I just started to feel that energy and to feel my own vibration kind of increasing and having more and feeling that abundance myself. And it was amazing, right? I also, if you have followed me for any amount of time, you may know at least part of my story, and that driving is actually very hard for me. I have PTSD from a really bad accident. And what was interesting is I can't always control when that is going to be triggered for me or start to arise within me. I can't always predict it. But, and there were about 2 moments where I started to feel that coming up and kind of invading and taking over from that sense of abundance and happiness and seeing the sun and all the beauty. And I couldn't just make it not happen. And I know that. But I was able to notice how it started, to feel kind of that tightening, that tensing, that shortening of the breath, and identify it for what it was, and able to, as quickly as possible, try to address it, try to slow the breath, try to deepen the breath, try to tell myself, I'm okay, everything's fine. Knowing I have permission, I can pull over, I can stop, I can get out of my car. I have permission to do that and do what I need. All of that as a way to, hopefully get past that moment. And it was sort of interesting to be in the quiet and to feel that and be present with that as well. It may be easy to feel present with the good, right? But it also kind of felt nice to be present with that. It is part of who I am, and that's okay. And so it was interesting. Now I've arrived, I've parked, and I'm now doing this video to talk to you about it. But I have a similar feeling of when I finish a practice, that I feel like my breath is slow. I've come back to myself. I feel good. I feel centered. I feel grounded. And I didn't do an hour practice. I didn't go to the studio. I don't even have a yoga mat. I'm not in yoga clothes, but I still feel that way. And that is what we're seeking. That's the practice. It's not about the clothes or the mat or the location or the style of class you're doing or how hard the class is. The point is how you feel when you're done with your practice. And we can find ways to fit that in small segments, even if it's 5 minutes of quiet in the drive as you run an errand versus I did about 25 minutes, because I didn't need to turn anything back on. I didn't want to turn anything back on. And I was driving anyway, and I was able to fit this in and reap that same reward. So I hope that's helpful. If you need a recommitment, a restart, or you're ready to start, drop the word reset in the comments here below, and I will send you the link for a 5-day reset where each day has a link to a different short practice that you can fit in different places. Some are meditations, some are short stretches, but a way to try to get back into maybe a rhythm or have a few practices where you can feel this way. And even if you don't grab that 5-day reset, I challenge you, next time you're in the car, today, tomorrow, wherever you're going, however far of a drive that is, spend at least some time of it in quiet, focus on that breath, look around, listen to what you see, the smell maybe of road construction when you go through that, right? Send good vibes and good energy to the people and the cars that you pass, and just see how you feel when you're done. All right, comment reset if you want that 5-day reset. It's totally free. I'll send it your way, but just keep breathing and make that time so that you can feel your very best.